Hello there! I'm Emily.
And I'm Kayla.
And we just want to talk movies. Alright.
Yes, we do!
Kayla's very excited. It's a Finn Wolfhard movie today.
It's Finn Wolfhard Day. It's T-minus 4 days from my birthday. I'm turning the big 2-0.
The big 2-0.
It's an exciting time. We're gonna paint Bob Ross paintings because I'm cool like that.
Yes. We just got back from
Ghostbusters.
Bus Ghosters. Empire of the Freeze.
Yes. Freeze me, please.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
We are going to be talking about the new Ghostbusters.
Give it our little reviews.
Yes. And that's pretty much it for today. It'll probably be a shorter episode.
Mm-hmm.
But first, as always, we have news.
Movie news.
The big one that we're all talking about. Scream 7.
We have updates. A big update.
A big update that I think we all saw coming. Neve Campbell is returning.
Is that all? Like, no, we don't have any other information about the cast.
No.
Just that she's okay.
I thought for sure they'd bring Patrick Dempsey back.
Well, we can wait for another announcement maybe soon.
I'm sure they're trying to get him back.
Yeah.
We also have Kevin Williamson coming to direct, the creator, essentially, of Scream.
Are you gonna see it?
I will.
I think I'll watch it. I don't want to go see it in theaters because it's under the same company that fired. Well, I guess Jenna Ortega quit, but who fired Melissa Ferrero, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't want to see it in theaters.
They also didn't. They wouldn't give Neve Campbell the money she was owed.
Yeah, all of this is just not good. Not good business. Therefore, I will be pirating it. No. You cannot hold me liable for what I just said.
Your Honor.
Allegedly, I will be pirating it.
I'll go see it because it's Ghostface. And I'm not at like the Marvel level with horror yet where I'm like, I'm done giving you my money. I'm like, it's a horror movie in the theaters. That's like my dream. And
there's better horror movies to see in theaters.
We can hope.
Who don't have the background that this freaking studio has.
I want to see a movie where Sydney is able to be her badass self and be the star.
I bet they're gonna kill her off.
I swear. That would be like the worst. There's so many ways for them to like just be safe at this point.
Yeah.
And it mostly revolves around stepping back and letting the creative people just do what they do.
That's the thing. I heard
they do that,
Dakota Johnson, after Madam Web came out, she like put out this essay that was all about how movies shouldn't be made by a committee. They should be made by the artists, which I think is perfectly illustrated in the Scream reboots right now.
Pretty much. Although everyone does like them, so
I don't know. To each his own.
Yeah. We'll see. In other horror news, we are getting a Final Destination 6.
Really? I didn't know of this.
Bloodlines, it's called.
Is anyone coming back?
I don't think so. We know very little, just that it's in production and is supposed to be here by next year in time for the first film's 25th anniversary.
25th? I feel like those movies are not that old.
The first one came out in 2000.
Oh god, it's as old as you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I have mixed feelings. I love all of the Final Destination movies, and I think the fifth one ended it just one of the most perfect endings ever.
The big twist.
And I don't like. I'm like, what else is there to do aside from just doing a cash grab, which it probably is.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't know really anything about the plot, but the big opening scene revolves first responders.
Okay.
Which is interesting, and all the posters so far look to have like a water theme, Like, there's a bunch of waves on one, and then there's people, like, looking like they're falling into a deep abyss.
Oh.
I'm like,
Interesting.
We'll see. I don't know.
Nothing will top the third one's opening for me.
That's
the
a
roller
great
coaster
opening.
one. That one's the best one. The third one is the best movie in general.
Third one's really, really good. I go back and forth between the third one and the fifth one as my favorite.
What's the beginning of the fifth one is on the bridge? Or is that... Okay.
That's...
What's the fourth one?
That's like the racetrack.
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Yeah,
the fourth one has issues.
The third one is the fourth one is the weakest one.
But still entertaining.
Yeah, it's not bad.
They haven't had like a trash movie yet.
But the third one is streets ahead.
Third one's great. So we'll see how that goes. And lastly, my last bit of news revolving horror. I mentioned the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey people kind of being assholes the last time we talked.
Yeah.
And I've mostly followed this through this one YouTuber that I watch all the time. And, like, they attacked him, basically, for not liking the movie, and it came a whole thing. But they recently reached out to him, apparently, and they just all completely cleared the air. The people, it was like one producer apparently was running the whole thing, and he was completely like, he took responsibility and was like, he was upset that people were like sending death threats apparently to the director and everything, so he would like just
he went
freak out
on crazy.
But it sounded like everyone on that team apparently like completely took responsibility and were like, that was bad of us, and they apologized and everything. I think that is really great.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
I love to see that, because we all do stupid things and say things that we shouldn't, especially online.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to see that little it's nice to see a human moment.
Yeah, from a production, a big production.
Yeah. So I would like to take back what I said in that last episode, because we're all human and we all make mistakes, so that's okay. I'm really glad that they apologized and took responsibility, and now I can be properly excited to see that this Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 does look like it could be a big improvement over the first one.
Was there a trailer?
Yes.
I didn't see it.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I've seen like clips and the character images. It looks like possibly they are taking the advice
and putting effort into it instead of just making it for money. That's a good sign. We'll see.
Yeah. So anyway, just want to put that out there. And we should all keep that in mind. Like, also when we make fun of people for doing something like that, remember, like, we're all not perfect, and there's probably a reason behind why someone's doing something.
But it's good to hold people accountable still.
Yes.
If they're coming after people who are smaller than them, especially.
Yes. Well, they're kind of, it's weird because they're like indie horror, you know? So they felt like people were trying to push them down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which, indie horror, obviously, we support fully. Mm-hmm. And they should be elevated. But
they also shouldn't be jerks to YouTubers.
Yes. And also, like, your movie is still up for criticism.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that's a nice little positive piece of news. Any news from Miss Kayla?
We've got news from the set of Stranger Things 5. Oh yeah, baby. So, this is also positive news. Well, kind of. We got 2 big updates from, like, the Stranger Things account itself. We got a picture of an official first look at David Harbour as Sheriff Hopper. Chief Jim Hopper. I don't know if he's the chief any longer. At first, he has this, like, stopwatch around his neck in the picture. And at first I thought it was his badge, and I was like, oh, he's back! That's the chief! But then I looked closer, and it's just a stopwatch. And everyone is asking what it is, and no one will answer us.
It's from Gran Turismo.
Yeah, he's like standing in front of a car. I'm like,
Oh my
he's
god.
just playing his character again. He has this big bushy beard. I love it. It's his biggest beard that he's had on the show, and I'm very excited. Then we have our first official first look at Will Byers.
Oh yeah.
Aside from the Noah Schnapp jump scare, we won't get into that. I will say that his hair is not offensive this season,
my
which is
gosh.
monumental.
I won't have nightmares.
I
I'm
know.
amazed.
It's still a bowl cut. It just looks like it has grown out slightly from season 4 and is messier. It's not perfectly straight like they've been doing, which is very nice. I think it must be because they're like running around that they have to make him look messy. Please, just tussle it a little bit and it won't scare me to look at.
I'm looking at a picture of him right now, poster on the wall, and it's
Oh my
just
gosh, yeah. We're in my
terrifying.
bedroom and I have to be haunted by this man's face. and
It's
his
really
awful
uncomfortable to look at.
Aside from his haircut, that took like all of my attention, was that it wasn't awful. The other thing is that we got a picture of him in Castle Byers, his little hut, with a young boy who's dressed up as season 1 Will and has little dots on his face. So we know that it's going to be like an 11 situation from last season where they bring in a younger actor and make them CG the actual actor's face on them.
Great.
But this is like a continuation of the teaser we got from the writer's account. They posted the first line of the first script that was basically, you assume that it's flashing back to season 1 where he's like singing "Should I Stay or Should I Go" in his hut. And we had that scene at the end, I want to say it's the end of episode 7, where he's in his hut and he's singing to himself, and then you see the monster come. And we don't really see what happens after that, so I'm wondering if we're going to see that. And Noah Schnapp is also in this picture. Jump scare again. And he's lying down like next to the boy. So like, I don't know if it's some flashback that like Vecna's putting him in or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I don't think I've mentioned the hand picture yet either. Before these two pictures, we got a picture of a bunch of hands gathered in a circle, like before like sports team when they go woo-yah and they raise their hands. I don't know how to describe it, but we've deciphered, especially since we got this picture of Will and it's the same like cuffs on his jacket, that this is all the original boys. It's Dustin, Will, Lucas, and Michael. And I'm so excited, and I know that this season's gonna destroy me because my boys are back. And another thing that's back is what we call in the fandom, there's much debate over this. Who is the core 4? Who would you say the core 4 is, Emily?
Of the
Choose
show?
your words wisely. It's very big
This
debate
show
online.
just got really threatening. Wait.
Who's the core 4 of the show? When the Stranger Things fandom references the core 4, who is the core 4?
The boys.
No.
No?
They're the original group of boys. The core 4 is Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and 11, because they were the ones who carried season 1. They're the core 4. There's lots of debate on this online. I don't care that much, but I kind of do.
I can see.
I guess I kind of do. But we also have the core 4 back. Finn Wolfhard has been doing press for Ghostbusters, which we are going to talk about today. And he has said that, obviously, I think everyone in the cast has said this, they're bringing it back to season 1. They're bringing it back to the original groups in season 1, which means the core 4 is back, which is the best grouping that we've ever had. Argue with the wall.
And that means Will's by himself.
That's what I'm thinking. Will's just going to be going through it the whole time because he has to like face Vecna and all of his past traumas. And the core 4 gets to have its moment to shine. And Finn Wolfhard also said that Mike is going to take on a leadership role like he did in season 1, which I'm very excited for because season 1 Mike was peak Mike.
Yeah, before he got all whiny.
Before he became a teenager. And now maybe he'll have matured a little bit and he's back to being a leader. He never stopped being a leader. He just had to take a back seat for a few years.
It is the apocalypse.
Yeah.
So he's gotta be mature.
He's always there to take charge and come up with a plan when he needs to, but he's also a kid, and so he gets to be annoying sometimes. But yes, I'm very excited for that, and that's all I'm gonna rant about today.
All right. Well, it's time to talk about more Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I know, he took a backseat in this film
yeah,
for sure.
Literally. All right, so we are going to get into a completely spoiler-filled review of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which we just saw today. All right, so since we have no notes, because we just
we're just gonna freehand this.
Let's start with the positives. What did we like about this movie?
I loved the scale. They upped the scale a bunch from the first movie, and honestly the original movies too. It felt very big. It felt very epic. The effects were good. I liked the new characters, or I liked the fire bender character the best. I can't remember. I think Nadeem is his name.
Yeah, something like that.
He was super funny.
Yeah,
and I really liked Phoebe's arc. Took a while to take off for me. At first, I was like, oh, they don't really know what to do with her. And then I was like, oh, okay, they're finally doing something with her. And I liked that. I liked that she had like a little romance with another ghost girl, which I like. They've never explored that in Ghostbusters before. So I was like, this is really refreshing and cool. That was really fun to watch. There were some good jokes in this one. I was laughing. I really liked Ray's arc as well. Ray was like brought into the forefront in this movie, which I thought was nice. Mm-hmm. And he's super fun to watch. Of course, I love his character from the beginning, so that was nice. And the villain, like we imagined, was a really cool villain. And
cool. Like we said.
Yeah, it was cool. And yeah, it felt very new, but I still felt like I was in like the goofy Ghostbusters world for most of it. So I think they did a good job balancing that.
Yeah, I agree. This was a step in the right direction. They did something, not just trying to copy the other movies. Like, let's do the same villain again. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, use your own brain and make something up. And
because they could.
Yeah, and I liked it. I like Phoebe. I think she's the best part of these movies. Mm-hmm. And the actress has a lot of charisma, and the character's really cute and fun to follow. Mm-hmm. And yes, as romantic myself, I really, really loved. I mean, it wasn't like explicitly
I know, which
romance.
Was kind of bothered me.
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
It was like kind of hint maybe, but
yeah.
That, like you were saying, like that's something different. Like we haven't done that before. Like someone having a relationship with one of the ghosts and being like
talking to them.
Yeah, I mean, like, but you're cool, and I don't want to bust you. I wish there was more of that because they kind of just tapered off and didn't really do much with it.
Agreed.
I did like, again, like you said, the scale. It felt like real steaks.
Yeah, there was steaks and french fried potatoes. There were some shots where I was like, ooh, I'm like kind of scared.
Yeah, and it felt like, I don't know, something about Afterlife just felt like not intense at the third act. I was like, who cares what happens right now?
I don't know if it wanted to be.
Yeah.
Or needed to be. This one I feel like they needed to be because now they're in New York and they can't just do the same thing or else it would be a remake because they're back in New York.
Yes. I think the fire guy was he was the funniest part of the movie.
Almost all of his jokes made me laugh. Everyone else was like, sometimes it was 50-50, but
there were some
bad
ones.
jokes. There were some bad jokes. Yes,
crickets in the theater.
Yeah,
oh yeah. At first, when this movie started, I was like, this is not going well.
The opening sequence, I was like,
that was bad.
Something about this is not connecting for me.
And then finally, when we got certain characters kind of out of the picture into the background, it started getting better.
Are you talking about Paul Rudd?
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it.
But what I thought was funny, joke-wise, the worst joke for me was, like, the Ghostbusters song joke, and everyone in the theater was laughing so much. I was like, oh no. That one was like, it was okay in the trailer because it was so quick, but they lingered on it for far too long in the movie. It went on. It was for so
uncomfortable. Oh. Well, I guess this might be a good transition into things we weren't so happy with.
Oh, I'll say one more new character that I really liked was the guy in the lab, the like British guy. Oh, yeah. I thought he had some funny quips. He wasn't in it too much, but I thought he was good. I enjoyed him.
Yeah, he kind of just popped up every now and then.
Yeah. But for what he was and what he was meant to be, like, I thought he was a good addition.
Yeah, he wasn't annoying or anything.
Yeah, dislikes. It felt like they had a bit of trouble figuring out what to give everyone to do. Mm-hmm. I sort of assumed that Carrie Coon's character was not going to have much to do. And she didn't have anything to do. I was like, every time she was in a group scene, I was like, oh yeah, she's part of this.
And they literally make a joke about it too.
They do.
And it's supposed to be like, don't say that. I'm like, it's true.
What did they say?
When Phoebe keeps being like, you're not, you don't do anything.
Yeah, she's like, you're just, you're not even a scientist.
And I'm like, why are you trying to make it out that she's being a brat? She's right. Why are you booing me? I'm right.
Yeah.
I never liked the mom character. No. I'm glad she wasn't in it.
Yeah, honestly, it didn't bother me too much because I was like, they've moved on from the fact that she thought her dad was sort of a deadbeat. So, like, what else is there to her?
Nothing.
The answer is not much. Yeah. Just being a mom, I guess, which is kind of sad that they just sort of relegated her to being the mom.
It's kind of how I felt about her in the first one, though. I'm like, I really, like, anytime it cut to her, I'm like...
Yeah, she was she kind of annoyed me in the first one. But yeah, I wish there was more Bill Murray. That's, like, my biggest thing character-wise. Bill Murray should have been in it more, because he was super awesome in all of his scenes. But I did appreciate the fact that they didn't lean on the old characters too much.
The old folks.
There were definitely some scenes where I was like, oh, look, it's this character. And you're like, okay.
Thank you.
But overall, I feel like it wasn't about that. It was just about we're busting ghosts. And there's new characters and new things happening, especially in the Phoebe department.
Yes.
I thought Podcast was super funny.
Yeah.
Also kind of wish he was in it a little bit more, because he was a great part of the first Afterlife. Finn Wolfhard's character he had some funny lines. Mm-hmm. I was laughing. The best, one of the best jokes for me is when Slimer comes and eats the possessor ghost. And Wolfhard just looks up. He's like, I know that guy,
because he's been like
he's been battling him this whole time. Oh my god, yeah, that made me laugh a lot.
I kind of wish there was more of that too. It really feels like they cut a lot out.
Yes,
I wouldn't be surprised to hear that.
Yeah, Slimer didn't do much after that. He ate him, and then you didn't see him. Slimer was awesome because he was mostly practical.
Yes,
and I was super excited about that because they kept him looking like he did in the original.
Yep.
That whole plotline I thought was super funny with Finn Wolfhard, and then him like wanting to be seen as an adult. And I knew from the beginning when Paul Rudd's driving the car, I'm like, they have to get Finn Wolfhard in that seat. But again, please, he has to be the driver. And at the end, they finally let him drive, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, it felt like they set a lot of stuff up with like him. Oh, he's trying to. He keeps saying, I'm an adult now.
Yeah, I did think he would get more of a moment in the actual battle because of that, and he didn't.
Everything that would start off in the first act kind of just never really we came back to. It was like...
It never came back big, really. Yeah. Overall, like, I enjoyed his character. His relationship with Lucky was... I've never really felt it And
That
it
felt like an
super
obligation.
Forced. It felt super forced in this movie.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't really know what to do with Lucky.
Like,
I liked
make
that
him go hug her.
I know. They like each other. Make them hug when they see each other. And then I thought they had some great chemistry and some great comedic lines in the scene where they're at Nadim's house and they go into the back room. That stuff was great. But otherwise, yeah, I feel like they didn't really know what to do with Lucky. I like that they put her in the lab because that's kind of cool to see what she does with that. And it didn't really go anywhere.
It's so weird that all these characters are just here now.
Well, I realize it is the summer, so I think that, like, with podcasts, he's there for the summer. Lucky's probably only there for the summer because her dad is, like, a sheriff in the town.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I sort of wrote it off as. But yeah, Gary just came along for the ride for sure.
Should we talk about Paul Rudd now? I really enjoyed him in Afterlife a lot. In this, oh my god, it was painful.
It was annoying.
I was like, oh, this isn't going good. What is he doing? And then the movie obviously realized it too because he's barely in it. He's a side character. By the third act. He's an annoying side character that won't go away, same as a mom.
And it did not feel earned when they call him Dad at the end.
No!
I'm like, okay, he tried, but, like, did they ever have any moments of connection? No.
That was another thing. That was going to be a whole, like, oh, he's uncomfortable, and then they kind of
They didn't have time for anything.
Yeah.
I think they were juggling too much.
Yeah. Again, unless there's, like, a 3-hour cut.
Yeah,
which
I don't need.
No,
I feel like they could have cut some other, like, I don't know, they could have cut down something else and then just added a few scenes that would have made everything more satisfying.
Really, the main characters are McKenna Grace and Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
They should have been top billing, honestly.
I know, yeah.
The credits roll and I see Paul Rudd's name first.
He's the first one. That was crazy. Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd are the first names. I'm like,
Like, they might as well have not been in the movie. They did nothing.
Yeah.
Literally nothing. What did they do that affected the plot? Instead of, like, kind of scolding. What's her name?
The scene where he yells at her, I'm like, I just didn't buy any of it. No. It didn't wrench my heartstrings. I wanted it to, but it did not.
Yeah, I'm like, go back to the ghost romance.
I know, yeah. We should talk about that a little bit. I liked it. I thought it was sweet how it all begins with Phoebe going to play chess in the park at night, and the chess starts playing itself, and you think that it's Spangler because he did that with her in the first movie, and so it's kind of like, oh, he's still around, and then it's not. It's a girl, and she's a ghost. And so I thought that was sweet that there's, like, sort of that connection where she sort of feels the same level of understanding with her as she did with the grandfather. Yep. And that sort of, like, sets the tone for their relationship, which I thought was really cool.
It's forbidden.
I know there's forbidden romance. She turns herself into a ghost just to, like, be on the same level as her, which I'm like, what the heck?
Which, again, they did nothing with.
That part confused me, because I was like, she needs to turn into a ghost for the Iceman to take over, but why?
Because he only can take over ghosts, I guess.
But he didn't really take over her. He
did to free himself.
Okay, I guess.
With the thing they completely stole from Hellraiser.
I know, that was fun. I liked that, though. I thought that made it more spooky. The opening scene, when it's like a flashback to the early 1900s and the firefighters are going into the building and all the people are frozen. I thought that was all really cool. And it reminded me of the Mummy a lot. The villain reminded me a lot of the Mummy and how they had, like, the ancient background, and yeah, I thought the fire stuff was really cool.
I really like how they did that stone animation when they
were
telling the flashback, cool. The origin story of the villain. That was really neat.
I thought that gave me, like, Disney vibes almost, like old animated Disney vibes.
Okay, I was thinking with the ghost girl, like, working with the bad guy to trick Phoebe. I'm like, that reminds me of Hercules.
Yeah, totally.
And then she's like, got the blue fire.
Has blue fire.
Like, oh.
There was some inspiration going on there. And I love Hercules. That romance and Hercules, top tier Disney romance. Emily, argue with a wall. I know what you're gonna say.
Top tier.
That's
your top tier.
It is. Yes.
Okay.
Not the top, but top tier. But yeah, I thought that they definitely held back on the fact that it was two girls and it was a bit of a romance, which I didn't mind. They didn't have to be overtly because they're teenagers. So
Yeah, we don't need like a
we don't have to have a hot
declarations.
Yeah,
of
I just
love.
thought like maybe if they held hands or there was like something.
A kiss.
There was
a cute
no
kiss.
Yeah, there was no. They didn't want to push it. I feel like, which was a little weird.
I feel like if it was a guy ghost, it would have been way more like ooh.
Overt. Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe we're just too romantic.
I love subtlety, so I wasn't like, oh, come on, give me more. But I just wish there was a little bit of something that would have like cemented it to the audience that yes, this is romantic.
I agree. Let's talk about the villain,
Villain is great,
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze. I don't know what to call him.
He looks like Darth Plagueis.
He does. I thought that the scene where he officially brings himself back, and it's just you see Phoebe as a ghost in this dark abyss, and then you just see his eyes above her. Oh my god, it was so creepy.
That's great.
And that was a moment where I was like, this doesn't feel like Ghostbusters, but it didn't bother me because it didn't feel like Ghostbusters.
Yes.
It felt like something new. But they still did have like the fun antics of Ghostbusters with the old ghosts and like the goofy ghosts, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was like serious enough
Mm-hmm.
for the stakes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it was still like felt like a Ghostbusters-ish movie.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from the unfunny character.
Yeah, the comedy that didn't hit all the time.
Oh man, yeah, it was bad. That's why it's kind of weird because I think this is better than Afterlife, but at the same time, like the comedy in Afterlife is a lot better mostly.
I think I enjoyed Afterlife more. I think I enjoyed Afterlife more just because I feel like the characters were much better handled.
Mm.
And yeah, I feel like their arcs all were arcs.
I have to say though that one of the biggest things that bugged me about Afterlife is how they handled the original characters.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Why do they have to hate each other?
like, that was just... That's probably the biggest downside of that movie for me.
Mm-hmm.
With this one, they did not do that, which,
No,
thank
I
God.
think everything... Like, I loved the scenes between Ray and Winston. You could feel that they cared about each other and their buddies still.
Ray acting like Ray.
Yes.
Not saying that Spangler can rot in hell.
Yeah.
That was so...
That was weird. Mm-hmm.
Anywho, I'm not going to get into it, but thankfully... I mean, yeah, we all wish that it could be they could be the stars of the show a little bit more, but what they had them do is, like, it's fun. You know, they're there just kind of being goofy and fun. And Ray, he actually did have a bit more to do, which was nice. Mm-hmm. Like I said, him and Phoebe are, like, the main characters, which is really cool.
Which I think it makes sense, too, because he's always been the character who, like, he's stuck with it. He's like, I love doing this. And so I think it was nice to see him be like, I still love doing this, and I'm going to help you out.
And again, that was another thing they were building up. They're like, he loves it so much, he wants to stay. What was he doing in the third act? I can't remember. I don't remember seeing.
Well, all the old Ghostbusters were just there as much as the rest
huddling
of them.
and like being like, ooh.
Yeah, oh, there's icicles and we have to run. Yeah, I wish they had done something kind of cool together.
He should have had
They had the moment where they shut the machine, which was cool. They were all tugging on the lever, which I thought was sweet.
I feel like Ray should have had a moment though.
Yeah, well, he did because he figured it out what to do.
Yeah,
and they're like, we all trust you, which I thought was cool. I don't know. I feel like they were trying not to give them too big of a moment because it's not supposed to be let's go back in time. Yeah. So I appreciate what they were going for at the very least.
At least they're not killing them off.
I thought they were going to kill Ray off because I was like, why are they focusing on him so much?
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk out of this theater if they kill off a Ghostbuster.
Again.
Well, they had to kill off Spangler because the actor...
In the worst way, though. Oh, he was the hermit and he's going crazy and then he just died.
Yeah.
Like, really?
But he got to have a cool moment where
when he came back, it was cool.
Yeah. I think overall they've handled it well.
I'm not into it. But, yeah, in this one it was much better. It's just like, you know what? If you can't not mess it up, then try to keep your hands off of it as much as possible.
Yeah.
Which is what they
If it's
did.
not broke, don't fix it.
Because they did get a lot of backlash for what they did with the characters in Afterlife.
Yeah. I want them to be buddies. Although, to be fair, in the second one, they were kind of broken up. And they didn't really love each other in the beginning of the second one. So it's always kind of a thing. But they didn't hate each other.
Not like that. They could have done something so much better with that, I feel like.
Yeah.
And they just went the easy route with legacy sequels. Oh, they're all miserable and they hate each other.
I feel like it's almost like a scheme for whoever writes or makes the legacy sequel to like pat themselves on the back and be like, look what I did, I brought them all back together. But it's like, you also broke them up and possibly killed them off.
Yeah, like what's the big, like, we're over already. Like, maybe when The Force Awakens came out, it was like the big, oh my god, Han Solo is back.
Yeah.
We're so over that now. You can't bring in new characters and expect that's all I have to do, or the old characters.
Exactly.
And, like, kill them off and be like, aren't you shocked? Isn't that such a crazy thing?
Every time.
No, it's not. It's stupid. I still go back and forth with The Force Awakens. Like, do I like it? Do I not? I don't know.
That one, I mean, I feel like The Force Awakens started all of this.
It did. It started the legacy sequel.
Yeah, the dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire. I have written a blog article on it if you're interested. My blog, Escape to Storyland. It's very fun. You should check it out.
Go check it out. Yeah, I agree. We're over that. We have moved on as a society.
Yeah, like, it's time to either stop. We could stop with the legacy sequels, which would be great. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to keep making them, then you either need, if you're going to bring back the original characters, then there has to be a reason.
Yeah, agreed.
You can't just be like, we'll put their faces in the trailer and we'll get people excited. That doesn't work anymore.
Which I feel like they did that with Bill Murray's character in this one, because all of his scenes that were in the trailer are the scenes that are in the movie. Except for, like, maybe one.
I think I said when we were talking about the trailer, I'm like, I wonder if what we see in the trailer is all...
Yeah.
Because we were like, oh, it looks like they have a bigger part in this. But then I was like, wait a minute. Maybe that's all... And Rey had a bigger part, to be fair. Mm-hmm. But
Which
the rest of them...
that's fair, because Rey hasn't been a main character in the past. Mm-hmm. So I enjoyed that. But I did feel like there should have been just a few more moments with them all together doing something. And Bill Murray was not in it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like he was on a lunch break from something else and then stopped by.
I was like, did Bill Murray not want to be in this movie?
I wonder.
They didn't bring back Sigourney Weaver, which they were like teasing at the end of Afterlife.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they just had her in there for that scene.
Yeah, they asked her and she's like, I'll do like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm leaving.
But yeah, I mean, I wasn't offended by anything, especially in this one. I liked what they did with Rey. And I liked what they did with Phoebe.
Yes. Those were the two characters they seemed to spend time on.
Yeah. And they did a pretty good job with them.
And the fire guy.
Yeah, the fire guy, he was great again. He had some great moments. His comedy was good. The villain was really cool. I liked the horns. The best moments with him are when he is in shadow or in smoke and he's just kind of floating. They showed him a little bit too much for my liking. I liked when they showed his fingers up close.
Yes.
It kind of almost felt like claymation, some of the shots, the way that he was moving, which I thought was cool.
But like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, I got Vecna vibes. I got Freddy Krueger vibes from his pointy fingers. I liked how at the end when they shut him into the other ghost realm, he breaks off a few fingers. I was like, oh yes. Oops. That's why you can't do your job with acrylic nails. Something's gonna break them.
For real. He tried to grab on to stay, but the nails broke.
Yep. He learned a lesson that day. He definitely did.
Yeah, when he is like the faraway shots, so you can really see the height of him, those were really, really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, when he's kind of obscure, it's way better than when they straight up put the camera in his face and you see this CGI Darth Plagueis looking guy.
Yeah. What I was saying right after it ended was that if this had been made in the 80s, he would have looked way cooler because they would have had... He might have been smaller, but he would have looked cooler because it would have been practical. Sort of like, well, they did it with the Marshmallow Man, and they did it with the Statue of Liberty in the old ones. I feel like they could have made him look really cool.
Yeah.
If they had just gone almost, at least, all practical. Like they did with Slimer.
Yeah.
I love the Slimer, the hand that comes out of the big pile and it's grabbing the Cheetos. I thought that looked really cool. It looked like something out of Goosebumps. Like
Goosebumps.
Yeah, like something I would imagine what Goosebumps would be.
Goosebumps goo.
Goosebumps goo.
That's what it looks like.
Yes.
Yeah, that was nice. It kind of reminded me of like in the Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Can you do that with all of them? But,
the big guy?
Yeah, the big one. They don't want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if they kept him shrouded the whole time, it still could have been cool. And just show the hands and the eyes and the horns.
Yeah.
Would have been cool. I liked how he had a little dress. He had a little skirt on.
He did.
And I was like, that would look really cool if it were practical. It like was almost really cool, but there was CG in it that made it look a little rubbery.
I think it's so weird because people don't want to do practical because it looks goofy nowadays, they say.
But in Ghostbusters, that's like what you want.
And does CG not look goofy?
I know, CG oftentimes looks more goofy.
Yeah, so I don't get that, especially with a movie like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Ghostbusters is the time to use practical effects even if they look a little goofy.
It's supposed to be fun and silly.
Yeah, that is the point.
I feel like in horror especially, like CG just doesn't work a lot of the times. CG for like if you're doing big action adventure stuff, then yeah, you need the scale a little bit more to keep up with the times and everything. But with horror, CG rarely is a good move.
If you rely on it too much, for sure.
Yeah, enhancements like I'm trying to think. I know there are movies.
I thought of A Quiet Place. I don't mind the CG in that. It's just when they show the monsters for too long that it gets not scary anymore. So I feel like if you have a CG creature, it's fine as long as you just don't show it a ton.
Yeah. Or like with The Invisible Man 2020 when you like get flashes of the suit,
he's
it
rubbery.
is CG.
Yeah.
But the way they film it makes it look freakier.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, what is he?
You can use it to your advantage, the glitchiness of it.
That's how you use CG in horror, is to enhance something to make it look more like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
And I know there are other movies that do that. I can't think of them right now. So, closing thoughts on this film.
I would give it like a 7 out of 10. I'd give it a strong C, maybe a 7.5. Because overall, I wasn't looking for it to be a masterpiece of like character arc and storytelling, but I was looking to have a good time. I was looking to not be upset by the use of the old characters. I was looking to have some moments for everyone. And I think overall, with the exception of Paul Rudd and Carrie Coon, everyone got like a moment of some sort. And maybe lucky Celeste O'Connor, she didn't really get anything.
Maybe the sex dungeon joke.
Yeah, I mean, that part was good. Everyone was good in it. Like, Paul Rudd. I don't know. Paul Rudd's so funny. What happened?
I don't know. He was off his game.
Yeah.
Or that, or they
like
only kept the worst jokes in, maybe.
The editing of the jokes was bad, because they could have cut down that Ghostbusters joke like to half or a quarter of what they put in.
It kept going.
That part I was like, like visibly cringing.
This movie, if you watch a compilation of Paul Rudd in this movie, it might as well be a try not to cringe challenge.
Oh,
which
no,
you'll
I'm
fail
sorry,
the
Paul
first
Rudd.
second.
I respect you, Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd, you are so funny in many other things, but this movie, it just didn't land for me.
You're hilarious in Halloween 6.
Don't bring that up. I'm trying to be positive.
Paul Rudd. I love Ant-Man.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. I don't know. It just, like, he didn't have his day in this movie. He was off.
It was either he didn't care, or he was just sick or something, or they screwed him over with editing or writing or something.
Well, here's the thing. They were trying to make him the main, at least for the first half, I'd say. They were trying to make him the main Ghostbuster of the group. And it's just like, that's not what his character is meant for. He's supposed to be the goofy teacher as a side character who, like, helps them figure out some stuff. He's not supposed to be the main comedic. He's not Bill Murray level.
They're trying to make him, like, the face of this new...
Yeah. But then they stopped trying at the end.
Because I think they realized, like, Jesus.
Phoebe is where you're supposed to put your efforts. Her dry comedy works, I feel like, for me.
And she's likable and fun.
What's your rating?
My rating, number-wise?
Yeah.
I would go somewhere between 6.5 and 7, probably.
You're giving it a D?
Is that a D?
Yeah, it's a high D.
What is this out of?
10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you give Afterlife?
Probably the same.
Afterlife, I would give a strong 7.5.
Really?
Or maybe like between a 7.5 and an 8. But this one, I'm like struggling to give it a 7.5.
Yeah.
But like I said, like there were elements of it that I liked better than Afterlife. I liked the scale. I liked a lot of the action-y sequences. But yeah, overall, they're fine. They're
entertaining.
Harmless.
Yeah,
they're harmless movies. As legacy sequels, they're far from the worst.
Yeah, yeah. They're far from the best, but far from the worst too. Like you could do so much worse. And I guess it depends on like how strongly
I'm not a Ghostbusters super fan.
Yeah.
So, like speaking as not a Ghostbusters super fan, I enjoy the old movies. They're definitely better than these ones. I can say, but yeah, I'm not like
we're not like it. It's not like
Star Wars. For you. But yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's, you know, if you want to go out, it's definitely the best movie I've seen this year, which is kind of sad.
Okay, Dune is better than this movie.
Yeah, Dune is technically a better movie than this for sure. But
Dune
as far as me
one,
being entertained, probably this one.
Dune and this one are the only movies I've seen in theaters that I would give like an above average rating.
Yeah.
Should we talk about what we've most recently been watching?
Yes, we are. Let's hop right into
dive into that. So, last movie we saw in theaters before Ghostbusters was Imaginary.
Ooh, Blumhouse. Ooh. Okay, so
this one is only slightly better than Night Swim.
Is it though?
It might be on the same level. I
might put Night Swim above it, honestly.
Really? Yeah, because at least you get to watch Wyatt Russell give the strangest performance.
Not care one bit the whole time. Imaginary, like I'm gonna forget about it next month. I'm not gonna remember what the heck happened.
Can I say the old lady in the movie was the most baffling performance I've ever. Every time she was on screen, I was like, what am I supposed to be getting out of this? Everything. I don't know what's happening.
It was trying to be Dream Warriors. It was trying to be Hellraiser. It was trying to be Child's Play.
Mm-hmm. It was trying to be a little bit of Stranger Things.
Yeah. It didn't know what the heck it wanted.
Weird movie. I enjoyed the big teddy bear monster when it was like the practical teddy bear because it reminded me of what I wanted Five Nights at Freddy's to be. But that was only there for like 2 seconds. Yeah, this bear, it had like a little sassiness to it, we thought. Yeah. But this movie wasn't about the bear. No. It was about like weird family drama and this lady I didn't care about. Yeah, they should have gone the Megan route with it, which was
Yes.
what everyone thought it was going to be. They should have made him a sassy little guy with his little red vest, and his name is Chauncey. Best name.
That's
like,
great.
Everything was set up.
He has a theme song that you don't hear till the end credits. I'm like, why wasn't this in the movie?
They have the theme music, but they don't have the lyrics. The theme music is a bop. They have everything, all of the elements to make this such an enjoyable film, but the characters were focused on way too much, and they weren't good, and
they took
just
themselves way too seriously.
Way too seriously. Like, why are you trying to make this a movie about trauma? Like, you could make it, but you don't need to make it that deep.
Smile did that way better.
Yeah, and I don't even love Smile. The third act loses me, but I was like, okay, this is kind of similar to Smile, but then I was like, I could make it through Smile without being like, I want to leave.
Yeah.
This one I wanted to leave.
Smile was able to balance the silliness and like this is freaking creepiness.
Yeah.
This like had a couple shots where it was like there was some creepy stuff, and then it was like, okay, that's over anyway. Back to Boring Town.
I just feel like they could have, if they had gone full Goofy, I would have at least had fun in the theater.
You need to go Megan with it.
Megan was a great example, and they were totally like mooching off of Megan for marketing, and I was like, so why did you not make it like Megan?
Chauncey is not going to be in the extended universe with Megan and Chucky.
He's not going to be a popular Halloween costume.
No.
He's not going to be there. You're not going to see him. If I do see him, I'm going to be confused.
I'm going to be like, what's that? What's that, corduroy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like evil corduroy. God, they could have made it so funny.
So lame. They, the reason I try to go and see horror movies because I don't want to miss out on like a Megan or a Barbarian or a Malignant, which we did miss out on.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, you know what? I'm going in anything, even if it looks bad, let's just go do it. And you get like those gems, which is so fun. But then you gotta have the balance where you get stuff like this that belongs in January.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy that this did not come out in January. Someone at a studio said, this is a March movie.
Somebody had naked photos of someone and was able to get this pushed into
blackmail.
the first blockbuster month of the year. Chauncey.
Oh, Chauncey.
Chauncey.
Oh, Chauncey. You deserve so
Stands
much better.
against Timmy Shalley.
Oh, yeah, come on.
And Paul Rudd.
You put Chauncey and Paul Rudd on the same level as Timothy Chalamet.
Timmy Shalley won.
What a march. What a march.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Willy Wonka would come out on top? Mr. Wonka himself.
Guy named Paul.
Yeah, a guy named Paul beat out a real Paul.
I like fake Paul better.
Real
Paul.
This March, I liked fake Paul better.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, aside from that,
I have finally forced Emily to watch Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
Want to talk about that a little bit? We have finished the first season and the first episode of season 2. So we're not quite in the golden era, I would say, of Breaking Bad, but we're definitely in the more comedic era, the funner era. We've been laughing a lot. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I like it a lot. Okay. Yeah, it moves along very fast. It's not suffering from this could have just been a movie syndrome, so that's always good.
Thank you. My thesis of this is that by the time you get to the end of it, and I don't know if you'll feel this way because we are taking longer to watch it than I did, by the time we get to the end of this, you'll feel like you just watched like 1 or 2 movies. And it has that sort of arc where it's like a very strong arc that makes sense throughout and like is engaging throughout.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it so far. I think it's really funny and interesting.
Do you have a favorite character yet?
I love the son, Walter Jr.
Walter Jr.?
He's hilarious. Okay. Oh my gosh. Anytime he's on screen, I'm like,
Walter Jr. is hilarious, yeah. Poor Walter Jr.
Yeah, it's a short end of the stick. If there's any character in this show to feel bad for, it's him.
Yep, yeah. At this point, as we go along, Jesse will definitely be the character that you're like he's got the short end of the stick.
Oh.
By the time we get to the end of season 2, you're definitely going to start feeling for Jesse. It gets pretty bad for him.
I feel for how stupid he is.
I know, and the whole thing with Jesse is he's so stupid, and Walter just takes advantage of that, and it gets worse and worse as it goes along. He gets, yeah.
Yeah, what I like about Walter White so far is he seems so unassuming. Like, he's just a guy trying to, like, figure stuff out. But, like, I know... Like, I've heard what people say about his character, so I'm like, something, like, shifts at some point. Yeah. Or else he's, like, playing the long game with fooling the audience.
It is an arc. It is one of the best character arcs of television history, I would say.
Oh.
He has an amazing downward spiral, like, ethical-wise.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Season 4... I'm so excited to get to season 4. Season 4 is one of my favorite seasons of television of all time. I love it. And, yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Season 2 is also very good. Season 2 and Season 4. Season 5 is good. Season 3, the last half of Season 3 is great, but the first half of Season 3, the first time I watched it at least lost me a little bit. But because it's sad. It gets sad at the beginning of Season 3. We're recovering from things in Season 2 that were... big, and so it takes a little bit to take off, but yes, we will hopefully be updating you more as these podcast episodes go along.
Yes. We've got our next episode in protest of this Godzilla and King Kong movie that's coming out, which neither of us are interested at all in.
Are we gonna see it?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to pay.
Yeah, I know.
I want to give it my
Maybe we'll
money.
watch it eventually, but I don't want to see it in theaters. The trailer looks so bad. We should at least watch Godzilla -1 before we do that.
I'm waiting for it to come out on digital. There's no word yet, but definitely want to see that at some point.
Yeah, we haven't seen that yet. I would love to see it. I've heard good things.
Yes. But anyway, for our next episode, we're just going to be talking about all our favorite King Kong movies and why we love them and why we are Team King Kong and not Team Godzilla.
Yes.
We'll talk a little bit about the newer movies and why we don't like them, but it's mostly going to be celebrating our love of King Kong movies.
I don't hate the new movies.
That's true. I do. She doesn't.
I don't think they're good, but I don't hate them.
I don't hate them. They suck.
All right. Well, that's what you have to. This
Next
negativity
episode.
that you look for.
No. We're gonna mostly be celebrating King Kong.
The ones that we like. Yeah. King Kong.
Because King Kong is awesome.
Yes.
And we love him. And
we love monkey business. We love ape movies.
We have a long history with King Kong movies. So yeah, that will be our next episode.
Yeah.
Until then, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all our new episodes. And you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We Just Want to Talk Movies on all of those platforms. And that's going to be it for today.
And we'll catch you on the flick side.